Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Splash&Go Interviews. So, finally, we landed this interview with us, Stricklin. We've been working at it for a couple months now. We really do. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, wonderful. Okay, so how have you been, Mr. Stricklin?
I've been good, man. Yep,
Yeah, that's good to hear.
been in the process of building my house for down here, and finally got it finished here. Moved in around the 1st of March, so I'm glad to be done with that. That's been a pretty major undertaking.
I bet, man. Yeah, I've helped build a few houses. I know that, man. 16 inch, every 16 inches, man.
Yeah.
16 inches at a time, then things get built.
Yes, sir.
But wow, so let's get into your career here. So,
All right.
how did you how did you find your way into Cup Series racing, or actually, how did you find your way into NASCAR, just in general?
Well, I come up in a day when racing was started at the bottom to local bull ring tracks around the Birmingham area, and raced at Sayre Speedway, Birmingham International Raceway, and Montgomery and Huntsville and places like that, and just come up, work my way up, and I guess in 1987, started in 77, and in 1987, I got my first big break from a guy down in Venice, Florida, named Skip Janey. Give me an opportunity to drive his cup car, new team just starting out. And, anyway, so that was probably my biggest break, and then run 3 or 4 races with him in 87, and then in 89 I got the opportunity to drive for Rod Osterlund in the Heinz Ketchup car.
That's for the 87, Rob. Yeah, I remember
Yep,
that.
yep,
Okay.
yep. And it kind of went from there. I've been at it. Like I said, got a full-time deal there, and for the most part in it till I retired from it in 2002.
Oh, well, I know you ended up. I know that you're somehow involved in the. Well, you're somehow a part of the Allison family. Um,
Mhm.
how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm real good. Just
Like,
like I said, I reached a point in my life. I'm trying to slow down, but it hasn't really been working for me.
yeah.
I get done with one project and then I'm moving on to another.
Ah, no,
Yeah,
that's right.
but
Um, so
still.
if I remember correctly, didn't let's see, I think it was like a few races into 90, and until almost the end of, I think, 92. Didn't you drive for Bobby Allison?
Yeah, I drove for Bobby, and come on board at I think it was the first Talladega race. I think it was. Bobby was just starting his team, and with Mike Alexander as a driver, and Mike was he got injured in a race in the December of the year before, uh, and just he never really um, got well over that. So he had to had a vacant seat come open, and luckily enough, I was in the right opportunity to get there and be a part of that.
All right. How was it driving fan? I mean, what did it ever cause issues, arguments? I mean, was it difficult?
No. It was really good. When I look back on it, probably Bobby's thing was probably one of the best, if not the best ride I had throughout my whole career. It was everything was new. it was a good team. It was good engines. Jimmy Finnig was my crew chief, and
Wow.
Keith Allman, the Allman brothers was did the engines and stuff, and so it was a good team. We ran awful good, and just never could cash in and get into victory lane with it, but we came awful close a lot of times.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And remember, that once you actually got out of that seat and went to your next ride, remember Jimmy Spencer took over that ride for I don't know, a season or something like that. He seemed to run okay in that. And I noticed something with you guys' careers. And you guys have I noticed you guys pretty much arrived on the scene about the similar time, the late 80s. And it seemed like you guys were in and out of each other's rides at just through the 90s. Like, like when you or him would leave a ride, you or him would go. It just you guys were stuck right about that level of teams. Like, were you guys good friends? Did that ever cause an issue?
Like, no, we was probably as far away from being good friends as what you could possibly be. It's just Jimmy's a great guy, but his personality and my personality were he was loud and obnoxious, and I was a quiet, reserved kind of guy, and I let my I let my performance speak for myself rather than trying to do it through being loud and obnoxious, and
your mouth all the time.
and
Right.
so anyway, what happened, throughout that whole deal, really, we was going along there for whatever reason. I don't know why he followed me everywhere I went. I always, it made no sense to me why he would or whatever, but everywhere he went, come along behind me, he done worse than I did. Except for the two races he won at Talladega and Daytona, won at Talladega, won at Daytona that year, and which is a whole nother story. And but I think somebody turned their heads in tech and let a few things go by. And it's and people on the inside know what happened. And that's, but nonetheless, even with him winning two races, he still finished 2 or 3 positions behind me in points that year. So, and he won 2 races. So what kind of year did he have?
Yeah, really.
Don't get me wrong. I'd rather have the 2 wins too, but
sure,
but it's still, but it's just one of the things I don't know. I can't explain it. You'd have to ask him on that. But it's and since then, Jimmy and I have talked to, we don't have any problems. He used to come by the place. I used to work there in Mooresville, North Carolina and stuff, and see us from time to time and bought material from us. It was a steel place, and so anyway, but it's all good now between he and I.
That's good to hear. I know me as a fan and a lot of fans have just always had that question, just why? But thanks for answering that for us, Hut.
Yes, sir, buddy. Well, I still don't know the answer, but
well, you tried to clear it up for us the best you could. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And then now in 1996, I will say something Spencer never did. I never seen Spencer drive any race like you did in that Southern 500 in 1996. You came this close to winning that.
Yeah.
I think on our last conversation we kind of touched on this.
Oh yeah.
That was incredible. I mean, what were you feeling that day? I mean, you had to be nervous.
Well, not really. When you got a car that good, it's right the opposite. You're calm and cool and collected, but it's when you're white knuckling it for 500 miles, and that's when you're it gets kind of hairy. But we just had an excellent race car that day. I don't know, it wasn't that I was really on that day or anything. I mean, I feel like I did the same thing I always do. I try to go as hard as I could every single lap, every time I got in the car. And that day there, I had an excellent horse to ride. It was just and what's weird about it, I've told people this story before. My very first time I drove down pit road in that car, it was a brand new Ronnie Hopkins car. And it was the first one that we had. It was all brand new. Ronnie is a local car builder in South Carolina. He's out of business now, but anyway, my first time I'm going down pit road, I keyed the mic and I told Felipe Lopez, my crew chief, I said, Felipe, you ain't gonna believe this. This car is gonna be really good. He said, now how can you tell that going down pit road? I said, man, I can't tell you how I can tell. It just has a feel in the steering wheel. It's going to be really good. It just, it had a feel in the wheel of just grip front and back. The way the seat set, the way your room in there, everything was just, it was just the most comfortable of all cars as you're sitting there in it. And like I said, it just had an immaculate feel of grip. And going down pit road, going slow. And
that's crazy though.
But I still remember it to this day, what it felt like. But for some reason or other, we couldn't ever duplicate that. We carried that same car. We almost won Darlington with it. We carried it to Pocono, and we rained out qualifying, and we had a second round qualifying. I think it was on Saturday. Right. And track was still wet and whatever. Anyway, we got, we was a contender for the pole there starting the race. And anyway, in qualifying, went down in turn 3 and the thing just come around with me, and I driver sided against the wall and completely totaled the car. And, I was going for it, man. I had a good car, and, and had the pole all the way to that point. As far as lap times, everything, but it's just one of the things. And for some reason or other, after we, got, after that happened with that car, we couldn't ever duplicate it. And Fleet had all the measurements, had the roll center heights, everything. But it just, another car never had the feel that car had. And I don't know, nobody seemed to know what that car had that the other cars didn't.
That's really, really strange how because I've heard that before from other people's accounts that some cars, they look exactly the same, like you said, same measurements, everything, and it just wasn't the same.
Yeah. And well, reason, I know you probably remember Rusty Wallace racing and stuff, and hear him talk about he had a certain car that that they run every week. I don't remember one of his name. He used to name his cars and stuff. But anyway, even somebody like that with Penske, and that had an unreal resources and stuff, they couldn't duplicate. Rusty had that feel with a car, and he go on to win numerous races with it. And a lot of drivers. Earnhart had the same thing. It just. Yep. Who knows? I mean, what it is about them, but they, it's like personalities. They all have them.
They all do. That, as odd as it is, it's a machine, and you'd think, well, it ain't got a beating heart. It's not a living person. It almost seems like it is, though. It's got its own personality, its own tendencies. But so now I know through the late '90s, rides things fell apart with sponsorship and everything with Stavola Brothers, and rides got more scarce. I remember you got in with Junie Dunleavy. I think that was your last top 10, 6th at Michigan in 2001. I mean, the beginning of that day, did you think you guys had a top 10 car?
I did. I really did.
Wow.
We had we had you know, Hanlon was there. The car was driving really good. Um, horsepower was there. Um, you know, and it's just we had it all, and I felt like, if you could, if we got in position to get in, they're coming down the end of the race, with the aerodynamics and all that stuff on the cars, even then was, equally as important. You had to get in the right position and pass, and where, where the car was stable, what have you.
Yeah.
But we just, when we was lucky enough, when it come down to the end there, we got ourselves in a real good position, and could have been even better had we, it just, things would have worked out. But I felt like we had a car that was, top 5 car that day. If we, if we could have just got in position, but our pit stops, not talking about anybody, but our pit stops was really, not up to par with the guys who run week in, week out, and our whole crew was not a specialty, crew. They were, guys that work on the car during the day, and and then they would go change tires and gas during the race, and it's hard to compete against that.
They're not going to be as fast as, let's say,
No,
Gordon.
no, you can't be. I mean, they were great guys. Loved them all. We had a good time driving for Virginia, and all them guys at Virginia was super good guys. Still talk to a lot of them, and but it was some fun times, and it was, it's even fun, even funner a lot of times with them, because the expectations wasn't
So
so high, like they are, and the driving for Junior Johnson, and people like that. But my expectation was high too. I expected to go win every time I went out. It didn't matter what I was driving, and I just had a certain inner confidence that I wanted to win, and could win given the right opportunity, and it just never worked itself out.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Yep.
I mean, it's obvious, the fact, just Mr. Stricklin, just the fact that you made it to the Cup Series, not to mention the fact you had 328 races in the Cup Series, just goes to say, in the right position, easily, yes, you could have been. You could have been. You could have been as successful as your team would have allowed, as your equipment would have allowed. You know what I mean?
Yep. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. That's the truth. So I know that you kind of wound it down in the Cup Series in 2002. I think you were driving for Bill Davis. What made you? What made you decide to finally stop touring?
Well, what made us finally
Stop racing?
stop racing? Well, basically, it got to the point where I wasn't having any fun. It was just I was with a team that looked good on the outside, had a pretty paint job, had but it wasn't. We just wasn't. We wasn't. It wasn't there, and in the last several years, I had run, well, not several, well, 4 or 5 years that I had run there. It was just every race was a struggle to even get in. It's not like now where you show up, you're in.
Right.
You had to race your way in, a lot of pressure week in and week out, and it just had become where it just wasn't fun. And I come home and from Bristol, I guess, in my last race, and I told Pam, my wife, I said, I think I've reached the point here. I'm ready to do something different. And so, I walked away from it and never looked back.
Well, that's, we all get to that point in our lives. We need to change. And
well, I'd reached the point, it was, I hadn't, had a daughter that was, taking piano lessons, having piano recitals, and son playing basketball, and I missed out, on all that, goings on while I was off racing. And, once I got to stay home and see that, and, go to a piano recital of my daughters, and, go see my son play basketball and stuff like that, it was, it all of a sudden it became worth giving up. Giving up the racing part of it, that, seeing all that stuff he was missing out on. And I was ready. The time was right. And it was time for me to do something different.
God has a way sometimes to show us. He just does.
Yep.
And that's the way it goes.
Yep.
Mr. Stricklin, everybody here at Splash and Go, we appreciate your time more than you know. And I know that we've been working to get this interview in, quite a bit. I'm just not very technologically advanced.
Well, that's all right. That's okay. I'm not either, so I don't.
No.
But you keep working at it. You're gonna get it. You're better than you was last time at it. So
hey, yeah,
at least you got us connected.
That's all you can try to do is get a little bit better than you were last time, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right, Mr. Stricklin. You have a wonderful day. We appreciate your time. Thanks you.
Steve. Appreciate it, buddy. Yes, sir. Anytime. Thank you a lot. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. No problem. We appreciate it, and it was our pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.